Peace and love, people. This is an elaboration on chapter 2 of William Penn's Holy Experiment. This is chapter 2, Planting Pennsylvania. I've already read from page 105 to 120, and there's some notes that I made, and I'd like to go back and just elaborate a little bit on what we read so far. All right, so I'm going to turn to page 106, where I read about the conveyance of Pennsylvania to William Penn. And it says that he was given from the most illustrious prince, His Royal Highness James Duke of York, and Albany Earl of Ulster and Company, executed 4 instruments conveying his interest in the Delaware colony and its sea access to Penn. He conveyed 2 deeds of title, one for Newcastle and the 12-mile circle area, and the other for the area south of it, and also 2 leases for 10,000 years. 10,000 years. Okay, so if this was done in the 1600s, we're nowhere near the 10,000 years. Is that still in effect? I wonder. All right. All right. So the next piece that I want to elaborate on is well, first I'm going to say a quote that Penn was famous for saying. He said, "Right is right, even if no one agrees, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone agrees." Now, I really, really relate to that quote, especially when I'm all worked up about, what's going on with indigenous people on the planet today and here, and, my own personal journey with sovereignty and regaining myself and my rights and recognition as a sovereign being. So Penn wrote, he said that, right is right, even if no one agrees, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone agrees. And, I often wonder what was his motivation for saying that. And I think that he was so frustrated with living in a world and in a reality where wrong was normalized. So when he wrote his description about the Lenape, what they look like and their characteristics, their mannerisms, their spiritual practices, and all of the stuff that he observed from them, what he felt was that they were natural Christians. They were naturally kind to one another and this kind of thing. And even though their way of life was demonized and criminalized by the colonists so that they could take the land of the Lenape and this kind of thing. These were the reasons why, he wrote some of the things that he wrote, and he was so adamant about fighting for right, because in his world, wrong was right. And that was what he was saying. Right is right, even if no one agrees, and wrong is wrong, even if everyone agrees. All right, I hope I didn't belabor the point, but I want to go to page 109, and I think this frames a really, really good example of his level of frustration and how he was really, really committed to right becoming the norm. All right. So he says, the assembly also dealt Penn a major defeat by refusing to confirm the charter for the Free Society of Traders in Pennsylvania. Now, that was pretty bold. Free Society of Traders. This was for the Quakers. He was setting this up for the Quakers, but his colony was open to all kinds of people, not just Quakers. All right, he says he was dealt a major defeat when the Assembly refused to confirm the charter for the Free Society of Traders in Pennsylvania, which he had granted March 24th, my birthday, in 1682. This was an enterprise intended to promote and exploit the province's economic potential and resources and to build its markets. Quaker merchants in England invested in this corporation of venture capitalists and received from Penn the use of 20,000 acres known as the Manor of Frank, along with certain rights, including that of holding their own independent court, including holding their own independent court. Very, very bold, very free, very sovereignistic ideals. You know, being who you are, doing no harm, but being able to live free and, your group being able to maintain its religious, uh, uh, um, communal ways, whatever your society is, having the right to practice these things without any interference from the governed or some other sovereign power trying to take over your sovereignty. So at the end of this, it says, along with certain rights, including that of holding their own independent court. And the comment was, this was an anachronistic echo of feudal times. Anachronistic, anachronistic echo of feudal times. And I looked that up, and pretty much what it means is that, Penn was just like way, being way too old fashioned, like people were telling him, man, you can't do that. That's not, you can't do that these days. And the way that he understood his religion and rights as a human being, a child of God, just as great as anybody else on the planet, was that he felt, why can't we get together and make our own decisions, and what was the other thing he wanted to do? Have an independent court. So he was really serious about these things. Like I said, he went to jail for practicing what he believed, and I feel he was right. So I agree with his statement. Right is right, even if no one agrees. Wrong is wrong, even if everyone agrees.